A new week in Major League Baseball, but some series that even continue from the weekend that was. I think it's fair to say, DRS, that when you think of pleasant surprises so far this Major League Baseball season in 2024, the Kansas City Royals come to mind. KC has now won 20 games so far this year. I love it because I bet the over of the Royals win total at 73.5, and Kansas City, of course, off to a really good start. A matchup of two teams from Central Divisions today at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The Royals in the American League, the Brewers in the National League. Milwaukee played another Central team, but from the NL Central, the Cubbies, and lost the final two games of their weekend set, looking to bounce back today in KC. But the Royals, a minus 142 home money line favorite. Total at 8.5. How does this interleague set get started this week in KC?
Rain in the forecast said so hopefully this game doesn't have too many breaks here and does get played, because why? It's 75 degrees with a 13-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to left field. And rightfully so, the Royals should be the favorite. Now, one of my favorite guys this year early on with RBI shots has been Vinnie Pasquantino, the guy that usually bats in the 3-0 as a left-handed batter for Kansas City. He's got a pretty good matchup today. So if we take a look at the pitching matchup, Bryse Wilson will be on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. Take a look at this. Right-handed batters, he's been really good, Ben. An 0.93 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of .236. So we want to stay away from that side. But if we focus on the left-handed batters against Bryse Wilson, he's got a .355 ISO and a .381 weighted on-base percentage. So another day, another dollar here for our guy Vinnie P in that 3-hole. I'll be betting him to get an RBI tonight. And also take a look at Michael Massey, the second baseman here, who's got a .243 ISO and a .393 weighted on-base percentage against right-handed pitching. But if we're looking from a side perspective, I told you, you can see why that minus 142 price is coming up on Kansas City. Cole Reagan's this year, looking at his price here. ISO power number 069 through 158 batters here, barely giving up any extra base hits and a weighted on base percentage of .290. Also, looking at the lineup anticipated tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers against left-handed pitching this year, Hoskins, Sanchez, and Adames have had pretty good numbers with ISO power numbers. The rest of the six guys due up in the lineup tonight, terrible against lefties. Should be a Kansas City night, but Vinnie P in the middle of that lineup, he's going to record an RBI for us once again, just like he did yesterday.
Now, Donnie knows I'm watching The Sopranos for the first time into season 4. No spoilers, please. DRS, a huge Sopranos guy for many years, over 2 decades. You dropped Vinnie Pasquantino on me like that. I thought you were making a Sopranos reference for our guy, Vinnie P. Look at you dropping that number. Truly thought that was a Sopranos reference to start.
Yeah, you want some spoilers now? I can tell you exactly the way the series ended. Save you a lot of time here, Ben. A lot of time. Yeah.
IFB's out, brother. Can't hear you.
Okay.
IFB's out. Got to put it back in, though, for the nature of the show. All right, Donnie, take it. I can't find my IFB. Never mind. I got it.
Now, that would have been good, right? Yep. Now, see, you know what? Before you do that, I got to learn that, because one time I'm going to be on the air like, I just don't feel like being here. Hey, Ben, look at that. Take my earpiece out. Oh, can't find them. You got it, Ben. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Tremendous. I like that.
Never forget our first week doing the early line in September when we joined the forces of the morning shows, and it became 3 hours. DRS from TEL, me from TMA. Our batteries weren't used to a 3-hour show. Our headsets both crapped out in like the final half an hour. We had to make our adjustments. So, DRS, as we keep going around Major League Baseball, 10-game slate on this Monday, following the weekend, a few teams off to start off this new week. The Dodgers, of course, a huge weekend, a weekend series sweep over the Atlanta Braves at home at the Chavez Ravine. And things might even get brighter on this Monday night. The return of Walker Bueller, his first outing since June of 2022. One of the young aces of the staff in LA to start off his career. His first start in nearly 2 calendar years comes tonight against Miami. Minus 270. The Dodgers a hefty favorite against a bad Marlins team, but more importantly, it's the debut of Walker Bueller for the first time in nearly 2 years.
Yeah, and price points probably should be that high, just on the fact that you are playing the Marlins, who are bad, and also Rodri Munoz will be on the mound. We don't have much of a backlog for him, but the one thing it looks like through 12 batters, and that's it, he's faced against lefties. He struggles with them. Not a great look here when Shohei Ohtani is that left-handed batter with a 442 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 543 against right-handed pitching here. And also, if we're looking at that lineup, 6 out of the 9 batters, extremely high ISO power numbers and weighted on-base percentages here. So if you could just take that pitcher as a right-hander as a generality, you're probably going to get some offense here, no doubt in my mind, from the Dodgers. But having said that, the Marlins bats coming into this, and let's just, again, forget about Walker Bueller and the talent that he has. Let's just say he does come right back into form. Yes, the Dodgers probably should win easy, but let's just say he's okay as a right-handed pitcher. Look at this Marlins lineup against right-handed pitching this season, Ben. Brian De La Cruz has a 247 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 343. That's really good. But if we just look at those ISO power numbers through the remaining parts of the lineup this year against right-handed pitching, it's been dismal. Every single one of those below that 165 price that you want to take a look at as to being higher. So it looks like a blowout is on deck. As long as if Walker Bueller goes 5 innings, pitched 3 earned runs, the Dodgers probably win this going away. That's not even a great start from Walker Bueller.
The Marlins did plate 12 yesterday in Oakland to snap a 6-game win streak for the A's and avoid the series sweep. But again, Miami's second worst record in all the National League, only the Rockies' worst, 10-26 for Miami. 4th game of what was a series over the weekend, and it's always been in Philadelphia between the Phillies and the Giants. An early start on getaway day, 4:06 p.m. Eastern time between the Phillies and San Francisco. Philly is the hottest team in the National League. They've won 5 straight, greater than a $2 favorite to make it 6 in a row, Donnie, with Zach Wheeler on the bump today in Philly.
Yeah, good luck beating them today. And also 74 degrees, found a little bit warmer here than over the weekend in Philadelphia. Light wind blowing out to right field shouldn't affect it all that much. But Zach Wheeler threw 170 batters he's faced this year, Ben. A 103 ISO and a 236 weighted on base percentage against a light-hitting San Francisco Giants team, which based upon right-handed pitching against them this year, it hasn't been all that great for themselves. Only Yastrzemski at a 153 ISO, which is barely around average, and Terrio Estrada at 217. Everybody else below that 165 line on ISO power numbers. It doesn't work out there. The one thing that'll be interesting for the Phillies is they have a great lineup here and things are going well, but also Trey Turner looks like he may have missed as much as 6 weeks due to that hamstring injury. Let's see, because he was absolutely tremendous in that lineup, but as long as the Phillies are getting great pitching like they have, I don't think that matters today. Another win on deck for the Phillies? I anticipate it, absolutely.
The Titans, the most wins in all of Major League Baseball, 20 for this year for Philadelphia. A few more games on this Monday. Around the Bigs to preview up next. Around Major League Baseball on this Monday, we fly through a couple of more picks, previews, and breakdowns here on the early line. To the friendly confines we go next. An Aces affair today at Wrigley. Justin Steele for Chicago. Yu Darvish on the other side for San Diego. It's a virtual pick'em DRS between the Cubbies and the Padres. Minus 112. Slight favorite to Chicago at this number. 7 is the total as it's worked its way down. A virtual pick'em. Who wins today at Wrigley?
Yeah, take a look at that 7.5-7 number, and rightfully so. You take a look immediately and say, well, where's the wind blowing out at Wrigley Field? It's not blowing out. It's blowing in at 8 miles per hour, 64 degrees. And also, you do have the man of steel on the mound today. That's Justin Steele. And they've been getting some really good starting pitching lately here for the Chicago Cubs to start 2024. And you take a look at Steele. We don't have a lot of backlog to work off of him. But if it's anything that what we saw last year, he's going to be pretty good. Through 716 batters last year, Ben, a 123 ISO and a 297 weighted on base percentage. That's phenomenal. And that's pitching a lot at Wrigley Field. So it tells you the type of pitcher he can possibly be. This year, leaving off just like he did last year. Only 18 batters faced. And again, it's not much of a sample size, but based on last year, a 133 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 229. And looking at the Padres lineup coming into today, and something we really haven't hit on all that much, Luis Arraez getting traded from the Miami Marlins over to the Padres. Shout out the Padres. That was a great move. Yes, they give up some prospects, but also they're still going to stay under that luxury tax level and that tax because the Marlins were picking up a lot of his contract. Comes right over. I think got 4 hits, Ben, in game number 1. The look of this lineup is really tremendous all the way through, but against left-handed pitchers, I should say, it doesn't look that great. Only 2 guys, Machado and Profar for me, that are above average hitters against lefties. Everybody else in that lineup certainly struggles. If we flip it over to the other side, Yu Darvish will be on the mound through 102 batters. He's been good this year. ISO power number 141, weighted on base percentage 287. So case in point, when blowing in 2 decent pitchers here, I'll go with the under at Wrigley today.
Yeah, I think that under does come into play as well. 7 again is the number, dropping from 7.5. We go to the AL Central, a divisional duel. The Cleveland Guardians still sit atop the division. They had dropped 2 consecutive series against the Braves and against the Astros entering their weekend set. against the Angels, got blanked in their opening game, responded by winning the final 2 of that series against the Halos for a series victory. The Tigers struggling here as of late, an early start in Cleveland just a little bit after 6 p.m. Eastern time, and the Guardians a -120 moneyline favorite. Game number 1 of this divisional duel. Who gets a victory?
Yeah, plus 102 might be in the fold here for me as you take a look at the Tigers. You're going to have Jack Flaherty on the mound coming over. He's been really good for them. Last year, average at best. This year, much, much better. 147 batters he's faced, Ben. Take a look at that. ISO against them, 151. Very good. Weighted on base percentage, 288. Very good. Now, the interesting part's going to be is he's been dominant against left-handed batters, being a right-handed pitcher. He'll see a lot of lefties today. One of my favorite guys the back in this early season so far to get RBIs, that's Josh Naylor in the middle of that lineup. Did some damage once again yesterday. But if we flip it over, Tristan McKenzie is one of those guys I really like to fade, particularly when he's going up against left-handed batters. 76 left-handed batters he's faced this year. How about this? A 200 ISO and a 347 weighted on base percentage. I've been betting the Detroit Tigers a couple games this year with RBI props, and again, fits the mold. Riley Green, left-handed batter, very good against righties this year. Wencio Perez, very good as a switch hitter against right-handed pitching, and also Kerry Carpenter. So there's a couple guys in the middle of that lineup that I would like to take. So for me, I actually think Detroit's the better lineup today and has the better pitcher. Plus 102, it makes sense for me.
The Twins had their 12-game win streak snapped yesterday by the Red Sox in the final game of that series. Can a new streak start today? Potentially, but the odds makers do not favor it. The Mariners with Luis Castillo on the road in Minneapolis, the favored side. Luis Castillo, DRS, has started 7 games this year for the Twins. He has earned a decision in all 7. Dropped his first 4, has won his last 3, only 2 earned runs in those 3 starts.
Yeah, taking a look at the starting pitcher here, Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound. He's actually got some pretty good numbers, Ben, through 63 batters, 053 ISO, and a 288 weighted on base percentage. But yes, the focus is going to be on the opposite side with Luis Castillo. Absolutely filthy against right-handed batters, but as a right-handed pitcher, struggling a little bit this season, Ben, with lefties. That's a 269 ISO and a 411 weighted on base percentage through 80 batters here. You're going to get a lot of lefties in that lineup today for the Minnesota Twins. Krylov, Julian, and also Larnach look to be in that RBI pool for me today. Should be a good one out there, but Castillo, a little bit of damage done against lefties. We'll see if those lefties can show up today for the Twins.
The Rangers won their weekend series in Kansas City. The A's did the same in their weekend set against Miami. Oakland won 6 straight. That was snapped yesterday. The Athletics in this divisional duel, a home underdog today by the Bay against the Rangers.